So after we've added the photo at the beginning, we can start looking for some more pictures. And notice how you don't have to click anything to scroll to the right. You just move your cursor over that way and it'll scroll for you. So I don't see a whole lot of talk there, so I'm going to try talking. See if we get something better. Let's see what this one is. Okay, sure. How about this one? Yeah, that will be a good one. Okay, so we've got a couple here. We'll start with this one. So, like I said, the topic was having a appropriate conversation and looking at the person who is speaking. So, so this is also a good tool. You can add humor. I know what I said wasn't exactly hilarious, but um, you can make, comments that you would make as yourself, which is a great reason for this tool is that it's very individualized. You can really make it your own if you want to. Okay, so now okay. So, like I said, you would keep going with adding tags, looking for more people. It really depends on your search phrases. It can be a little difficult to find some of the photos, and only because, 17 of them show up at a time or 16 of them show up at a time. So, it's a little bit of a slower process, which is why sometimes it's best to use the archive, unless you want students to really get creative, then it would use this. So after you're done, we would just add, several more photos, make sure that they're appropriate photos for sure. After we're done, you click the Publish button. Now, this is where you give your comic a title and you put your name down so that you can search for your comic strip and you can find it easier this way. Now, I want you to notice what it says here. Note that when you submit a strip, it will be saved in Bubblr archive and everyone will be able to see it. So this means it's for public use. It's in the common domain, and this is yet another good teaching tool for your students to let them know digital responsibility. So we'll call this one conversation, having a good conversation. Or appropriate, sorry. And we'll Dan, done. So now this, if we go to the archive and we search appropriate conversation, this one comes up. And there we go. And of course, I'm going to rate it. I'll give it 4 stars. There's only 3 of them. So, as I said before, once students are done, they can print it off, or you can blog it if you do the blog. This is if you utilize a lot of internet in your a lot of Web 2.0 tools and you want them to embed the code or have this on their haiku page, whatever you want. We're not going to blog it right now. You can also send it to people through email addresses if you really want to. So one of the best uses for this in a classroom, and especially for special education learners, is getting them interested in the topic or presentation. This way they can be as comfortable as possible when presenting in front of other students. My favorite use for this would be an icebreaker activity or something that they can relate to. So whether that be about their favorite hobbies that they can talk about and show pictures to, or if it's just a biography about where they come from, and if they have a Flickr account, and they can show pictures of themselves. It's just a way to get them comfortable while presenting, and I think it's a more visually appealing option than something like PowerPoint. And anytime you get something more visual, I believe that students will be able to retain the information at a greater rate. So you can use this not only as social skills building, but in terms of vocabulary, storytelling, anything to help the students retain the information this is a great tool for it. As with any tool that you find on the internet and anything with the public domain and common access, there are some negative sides to it. There's several with Bubblr that I found. It's you can't always find the photos that you want from Flickr. As you saw, sometimes it's hard to find ones with the tags that you search for, so it can take a little bit of time. You can't increase or decrease the bubble boxes. You don't have a whole lot of options in terms of changing the font or rotating the pictures. There's a limited amount of things you can do on Bubblr. And the most important one that I see is that there are some inappropriate pictures on here. So you really need to be careful and choose a topic that you know the first set of pictures that they look for will be appropriate, because this will not be appropriate for all ages if they can find some photos of pictures of people doing inappropriate things. So you have to be aware of that. When doing research on this web tool, I found so many teachers commenting on Bubblr. It's definitely something that I had not heard of because I'm not exactly technology savvy. But most teachers found this extremely useful, as I said, as an icebreaker activity. It's not something that you can really cover in a class period, in a 40-minute class period, because it takes so long to create these. So it's good for an opening, engaging activity, but it's limited in other uses. Teachers have found it useful because it's so visually appealing, and as I said, anytime that you get visuals into your classroom, that helps you differentiate the activity and helps get those visual learners engaged in what you are talking about. Another really important and useful use for this Bubblr resource is for ESL teachers. It's great to get students practicing on writing in English, because they can describe something that they're comfortable with using short phrases, and it helps them reinforce vocabulary because they get to see a picture of what they're talking about while practicing their vocab. So I think this is a wonderful tool for special educators and ESL teachers. However, it can be limited in terms of use for other subjects. The most important use of showing Bubblr, I believe, is to teach internet responsibility to our students. They need to know where their photos are coming from. They need to know how to use them appropriately. And they also need to know about the public domain and using internet safe images. So this is a wonderful tool for introducing that, because all the images that you use are in the Creative Commons space and are free to use. So this is definitely a tool that can be used and I will use in the future. And I hope you all enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you will be able to use this Bubblr tool as well.